Welcome to the Topsail Insider Podcast, where locals, vacationers, and those looking to relocate to the greater Topsail area can hear all about the wonderful businesses and events in our beautiful coastal Carolina towns, including Hampstead, Topsail Beach, Surf City, North Topsail, Holly Ridge, and Sneads Ferry. Coming up, join me for an interview with the 81 years young Miss Cookie Tilghman, a naturopath and herbalist for the past 31 years. After suffering from severe diverticulitis for 12 years and facing surgery, she decided to take a different approach and return to school at the age of 50. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Topsail Insider Podcast. My name is Christa, and I am your host. Today, I am interviewing the delightful Miss Cookie Tilghman. She is the owner of Sonshine Wellness in Surf City, North Carolina. Thank you so much, Miss Tilghman, for joining me today.
You're welcome, and thank you.
Miss Tilghman is a certified naturopath and herbalist, and she's been doing that for 31 years. So, Miss Tilghman was the very first caller to the Topsail Insider Podcast, and she told me that I was doing a great job, which I really appreciated. And then she gave me a little history about the island and gave me some feedback. In my intro, I was saying Topsail Island. And tell me what you told me about Topsail Island.
Sure. Because of my history and working with the rescue squad, it's important to know that there are 3 separate incorporated towns on the island. They each have their own police department, fire department, and rescue squad. And vacationers and visitors need to know where they are. So if they do have an emergency, they can tell somebody where they are.
I just want to let everyone know that I have since corrected my intro, and I have it now broken down into the 3 different areas. So it's Topsail Beach, Surf City, and North Topsail, correct?
Yes.
So let's talk about your history. May I ask how young you are?
I am 81 fabulous years around the sun.
That is awesome. Tell me where you were born and raised.
Yes, Carborough, North Carolina.
Where is that?
That's right beside Chapel Hill, up in the Triangle area. So my dad worked for the university. My mom was a stay-at-home mom till I was high school, and then she managed the school PTA. I loved that area. Then I went to East Carolina.
What did you study?
Business.
Okay.
Business. Bookkeeping. I love numbers. I worked for the town of Chapel Hill as bookkeeper for a while, and then married Hunter Tilghman, and he and I had known each other since childhood. Our parents were friends, and we didn't start dating until my senior year in high school. We came here lots of times when I was in high school and after we married. So we came to manage the Red and White Shopping Center, which is now the IGA. And Hunter was a fabulous butcher, and people used to say they would drive for 2 hours to get steaks here.
What was it that finally made you make that move?
After we talked to Mr. and Ms. Christopher, who were the owners, and we were familiar with the area, and the offer was good, and we went home and we said, why not? If it doesn't work, we can always come back to Chapel Hill.
Yep. Yeah. But it sounds like it worked.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yes. We moved here just before Labor Day, 74.
You said you were a rescue squad chief?
Yes, we built a home in Topsail Beach on the south end of the island. And then I became very active with the rescue squad there. And was chief for a little while, and certainly worked with the rescue squad. Got certified as an EMT, so that was quite a journey.
How long did you work with the rescue squad?
Probably until the early 80s. Hunter was still running the store, and I actually managed Queen's Grant condominiums for a little while. The Christophers sold the red and white, and we then bought what was Selby's variety store 2 miles north of the roundabout.
How long did you have that store?
We had that store from January 85 until Hurricane Fran, 96.
Oh, Fran. Yeah, Fran was a nightmare.
Yeah. I had a gift shop, Cookie's Treasure Chest.
Oh, that's cute.
And then we had Shenanigans Beach Club.
Okay.
And
I feel like I've heard of Shenanigans.
I feel like you probably have.
Probably have.
Yeah.
When did you transition, or how did you transition to being a naturopath and herbalist?
Okay, I had been diagnosed from the doctors in Wilmington with what they said was the worst case of diverticulitis they had ever seen.
Oh, goodness.
And I worked with them for 12 years.
You worked with them dealing with the diverticulitis?
Yes.
Okay, for 12 years.
Yeah.
That's a long time.
And I didn't get a whole lot better, but I didn't get a whole lot worse. And you know what, Christa? I had learned what to eat and what not to eat that would flare up that situation.
Right.
So after that length of time, I was told the only thing left to do was to cut out that part of my colon that was most inflamed. And I probably would wear a colostrum bag the rest of my life.
Oh, goodness. Okay.
I was 49 years old at that time, and it scared me.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. So I was like, let me think about this. So I came home, talked about it, prayed about it, and the very next month, a couple moved to my neighborhood from Dallas, Texas. And I tell people it had to be a God instance because I don't think you can find Topsail from Dallas.
You can't get there from here.
But he was a chiropractic physician and an herbalist.
Okay.
And his wife was an aerobic instructor, just lived the habit of health.
Yeah.
And he heard my story 2 or 3 months later, and he said, wow, there's some better choices. And being born on the sign of Taurus, the bull, I stomped my foot at him, and I said, what are they, and how do I find out about them?
Yeah.
And he took me under his wing. 2 months later, I saw him professionally in his chiropractic office in January, and by April, I had no symptoms.
What?
And I was eating food that I hadn't eaten in years.
Oh, my goodness. So you had been depriving yourself of
anything with a seed in it.
January to April, you were back to eating whatever you wanted again.
Pretty much.
How in the world did he do that?
He recommended a specific fiber blend. And Christa, we're all deficient in fiber. And he recommended probiotics, and he recommended some immune building herbs.
Okay.
Like echinacea. And he also recommended that I quit drinking Diet Cokes and eating Snickers.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
I know, but that was what I was living off of, running a business 20 out of 24 hours during the season. So I made some changes. And the really interesting part on that Diet Coke, he said, I'm not going to tell you to quit drinking the Diet Coke. I said, don't, because I can't. I get a sick headache. I didn't know about aspartame at that time. And it's a real tough chemical. But he said, here's what do. He said, keep water with you. And when you want Diet Coke or any kind of drink 4 big swallows of water first.
Okay.
And if you put lemon in it, that's even more helpful.
Okay.
And then if you feel like you need 2 or 3 swallows of a soda, have it. And then drink 4 big swallows of water again.
So he wasn't saying get rid of it altogether. He said you can have it, but do this before and after.
Yeah. And here's the neat part. Innately, your brain doesn't have to do anything because the innate wisdom in our body will do it. He said, your body will begin to recognize that water's good for you and that soda is not. And you will not want that soda anymore.
Wow.
In 3 weeks, I didn't have soda.
How about
I
that?
hadn't had soda in 31 years.
That's amazing.
Isn't that amazing?
I thought I was actually doing the right thing by my kids can't have Coke or Pepsi. You can have a Diet Coke or a Diet Pepsi, but it turns out I'm probably doing more harm.
Because it's full of chemicals. And this body doesn't function on chemicals. It functions on nutrients. Yeah.
Okay, just one more thing I'm going to have to work on, Miss Cookie.
I'll help you.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So continue on. So you got better with the help of this doctor.
And people around me started saying, what are you doing? You look like you feel better. And I was telling them just what I was doing, which was really not a huge program. So when they started asking me questions, I was like, okay, I got to get answers for my friends and these people.
Yeah.
I turned 50 that April, and in June, I enrolled in Trinity College of Natural Health
Okay.
to get my certification. It was weekend classes, and I traveled to major cities to do 2 days at the time. Atlanta, Richmond, Charlotte, all around. I did the classes 2 years.
Okay.
And then it took me another almost 2 years to do the extra work that I wanted, which was advanced herbology and applied kinesiology.
And this is all after the age of 50?
Yeah.
Bless your heart. That's amazing.
Yeah. It's been a wonderful journey.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah. And at that point, it was very clear. My passion is my purpose, and my purpose is my passion.
My passion is my purpose, and my purpose is my passion.
Yes.
Okay. Explain that to me.
If you are passionate about something, you love doing it. And when you love doing it, then your personal life and your business life meshes so that you don't know when one stops and one starts. And that's the definition of success.
I love that. So we talked about you returned to school. How did you turn that into a business?
When people came to me with, what would I do for high blood pressure? Or what would I do for arthritis? Or I'm not sleeping good? Or I wake up with no energy. It's okay. I'm not an allopathic. I do not treat symptoms. I need to set an appointment with you to gather information from you so we can determine the cause and get to the cause so that you never have to treat symptoms again.
Okay.
And then work at a healthier lifestyle, not a diet. I have about 4 different questionnaires. One is on their everyday lifestyle activities. One is on nervous system, how they act or react to that very general word stress. The other one is an emotional questionnaire.
Okay.
Because every imbalance in our body starts from an emotional situation.
Can you give me some examples?
Everything on this earth is related to energy, vibrational energy. And there's studies, scientific studies that go back hundreds of years that have determined that the vibrational energy of fear, for instance, is the same vibrational energy that our kidneys function on.
Really?
And the vibrational energy of anger is the same vibrational energy that our liver functions on.
Interesting.
This is part of my Chinese medicine studies, and every organ in our body has a mate. For me, with the diverticulitis,
Yeah.
I had chronic sinus infections, Christa.
Really?
And when the doctor first was taking my history, and he said, so what's your major concern? And I said, I've learned pretty much how to control the diverticulitis, but the sinus infections hurt.
Okay.
And he was right, and he said, we need to get your gut healthy. I said, Dr. Mark, I don't think you heard me. I'm talking about the other end of my body. But that's the connection. Our intestinal system usually is the cause of any respiratory symptom. That was my first lesson in the fact that in Chinese medicine, each organ system in our body has a partner, has a mate.
Okay.
And so that's functional medicine, and that's been part of my studies over these years as well. It's
That's so cool.
fascinating.
It really is. So he was saying, I'm going to address the diverticulitis. We're going to get your gut health in check. When the gut health got fixed, your sinuses were automatically fixed.
Exactly.
Really?
Really.
That is awesome.
Yes.
How do your clients get in touch with you? How do they find you?
It started with my friends and family asking me questions.
Mm-hmm.
And then I immediately was like, I appreciate referrals.
Mm-hmm.
So it's been all word of mouth.
All word of mouth.
I have never advertised
Okay.
because if it's my passion, then creator's going to put the ones in front of me that are ready to hear it. Because the first 2 years, I just wanted to shake people and say, listen to me. But you have to love people where they are, and when they're ready, they will show up.
Okay.
I teach people. I can motivate you. I can teach you. I can encourage you. I can certainly make some good recommendations, but I cannot get your want to fixed.
You can't get their want to fixed.
But most of the time, by the time they call or come for an appointment, they've already got their want to fixed.
Okay.
So it makes,
They're just in such bad shape and they're just tired
Yeah.
and fed up that they need help.
up against the wall and scared.
Okay.
And then we make an appointment, and the first appointment takes about an hour and a half. That is $75, and I ask for at least a 3-month commitment for follow-ups monthly at $35. And we just gather lots of information
Okay.
and then talk about the habit of health. And Christa, it's not hard. It's not hard. And it doesn't mean you have to do without anything. I teach what I call the 80-20 rule, and that is because of the innate wisdom. And somebody asked me one time, what does that mean? It's a God thing. I can't explain it. But it's that internal wisdom that every cell in your body knows. And so if you do the best you know how to do 80% of the time, then whatever you do that you think is awful, 20% of the time, your body will handle. For years, my tagline was, knowledge is power. And after about 4 years, my brother-in-law said, that's not right. And I was like, okay, but I had to learn a lot of different things.
Right.
He said, but you can learn a lot and not use it.
Okay. He's got a point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I changed my tagline.
What is it now?
Knowledge plus action is power.
Oh, I like that. That's good.
And it's true.
Miss Cookie, can you give me a list of different ailments that you help your clients with?
Yes, and I don't treat what the medical field has named. I'll
Okay.
say that first.
Okay.
Okay. I treat the holistic person, the whole person. As I mentioned, we've got to get information on the emotional component, the nervous system component, a lot of things. But the most common that I hear are blood pressure, arthritis, lack of sleep, lack of energy.
You mentioned diabetics.
Sugar out of balance. Absolutely. And I know some people will come to me and I read blood work. I'm trained to read blood work, very detailed, because when something's just marked with an H or L, and another thing may not be marked, but it may be 1/10 of a degree from being high or low. It's time to look at that and jump on some preventive maintenance and not wait until it's totally out of balance.
Gotcha.
Because everything's about balance and about preventive maintenance. I tell the guys, think about your car or your truck or your boat, okay? You're going to change your oil on a regular basis.
Yes, ma'am.
You're going to take care of it. It's called preventive maintenance.
Right.
And my daddy was big on that. And if we started teaching our teenagers and young people, my goodness, I love to go to school and teach those second and third graders how their body reacts when they eat an apple versus a French fry.
Can you talk to my kids? Really? I'm not getting through to them.
And they very seldom listen to mom anyway.
Right.
Yeah. They're like little sponges. They want to know. And take them out in the yard and walk around and show them the herbs, show them what God said in Genesis 1:28, put every tree and seed-bearing fruit on this earth for your food and your medicine.
What about arthritis and something like weight management?
Let's take arthritis. Any word ending in itis simply means inflammation.
I didn't know that.
Every disease starts with inflammation.
Okay.
That's the starting place.
Okay.
Everything starts at your next trip to the grocery store because what's in your house you can put in your mouth.
Right.
The inflammation is not measured so much in a regular lab report. There are specific reports that I teach people to ask for that does measure inflammation. One of them is called CRP. That stands for C-reactive protein. And you have to request your doctor to order that. Another way is to measure your pH balance. And most people think of a swimming pool or a hot tub when you think of pH. Let me tell you how important that is. If a swimming pool is not balanced, the water will begin to turn yellow and green, and algae will start growing in it.
Right.
Every cell in our body floats in fluid, every cell. So keeping the pH balanced in this amazing living organism is a major important piece of the puzzle. And you test that with litmus strips, saliva, and urine. The pH is measuring your acid-alkaline balance.
Okay.
Okay. And you don't want to be way high alkaline, even though alkaline is good to a degree. It's back to balance, Christa.
Balance.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Let me tell you something that's just amazing. Lemon, lime, and vinegar sound very acidic.
Yes, ma'am.
But under the heat and pressure of our body, they are alkaline. So drinking lemon or lime in your water, and you may have heard my dad, my older generation, those fellas had a big old swallow of vinegar every day.
My dad talks about that. Yes.
To keep the itis at bay.
Interesting. I'm going to have to tell him he was right.
Yeah, he was right. But lemon or lime tastes better than vinegar.
I would say so. Yeah. I would agree with that.
But lemon in your water is good medicine and inexpensive medicine.
Right.
And that means fresh lemon, not in the bottle.
Okay.
Fresh is always best.
You also mentioned AFib. Like, how can you attack that?
You never alienate allopathic medicine. Never. Okay. There's a time and place for it. It's important to know how to communicate with the doctor, okay? So if somebody was in an emergency situation, they're going to do exactly what Big Pharma knows to do. But then reach out to a bigger picture, back to the cause versus the symptom. So magnesium has been scientifically proven and used over and over again to help with that symptom.
Really? Is that prescribed for people? No, it's not.
Yeah. But it's important to see someone to determine what dosage is right for you. Because supplements brands are not alike. And I've studied a lot about purity and potency in order to get results.
Okay.
And herbal medicine is like your vegetable garden. The green beans taste the best when they're just perfect, ready to pick and cook. The butter beans have got to be filled out before they're ready.
Mm-hmm.
Herbs need to be at the peak, the right ripeness, in order to be potent medicine. And the company that I choose to recommend and work with was the first company to ever encapsulate herbs back in 1972.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And so they've got a track record. They are pure, potent, guaranteed, and they meet every FDA requirement. So the dosage of vitamins and minerals and amino acids and herbal blends is just as important as the dosage of blood pressure medicine.
Okay.
What's on that bottle may not be for you.
Okay.
Because most every bottle is a maintenance dosage, and sometimes you need a therapeutic dosage for a little while.
Okay. And you use one particular brand for all of your herbal supplements?
Yes. Nature's Sonshine is the company.
Nature's Sonshine.
Yes.
Okay.
And my website will take you right there, and you can look at it, and it's a wealth of information about what's in the herbal blends, why, the history, just fantastic information.
Okay. Let's go ahead and mention that website then. It's sonshinewellness.com, S-O-N,
Yes.
not S-U-N,
Yeah.
S-O-N, sonshinewellness.com. And that will take you to the herbal supplements that you recommend.
Yeah.
I would love to know why it's S-O-N. I cheated and I got the answer to this, but I definitely do want the listeners to know why it is S-O-N.
When I was first learning and getting well, and I said to a friend of mine, I just want people to listen. It just can make such a difference now in 10 years, 15 years, whatever. And she said, why don't you go out there on that beach and hold your hands palm up and ask your creator to send the ones that are ready.
Yes.
And so God's sun shined on this.
Uh-huh.
And that's why it's sunshine.
Gotcha. I love it. Okay, Miss Cookie Tilghman, you're such a pleasure. I just want to know, are there any final thoughts, or is there anything that you want the listeners to know about Miss Cookie Tilghman or Sonshine Wellness?
What have you got to lose to call for an appointment and just hear what might change your life or your children or your grandchildren?
Mm-hmm. Very good. So I am going to tell folks how to get in touch with you.
Okay.
Don't forget that it's Sonshine spelled with a O, Sonshine, Sonshine Wellness. It's Cookie Tilghman, Tilghman. And her email address is cookies, SWC. So it's COOKIES SWC@gmail.com. Her website, again, is sonshinewellness.com. Her phone number is 910-330-3838, and you can call or text her at that number. You wanted to say something about calling and texting.
Yes. So many times, if people call, they're hesitant about leaving a message if I don't answer. And if I'm with a client, I don't answer. So texting, I'll be sure to respond.
Very good.
Perfect.
All right. Thank you so much, Miss Tilghman. It's been a pleasure. From the moment that I picked up the phone and you told me who you were and you gave me that wonderful feedback, I just knew that you were something special, and I couldn't wait to do this interview. Thank you. And I really appreciate everything. And listeners, thank you so much for tuning in. And I hope that if you have something that's bothering you and you think that Ms. Tilghman can help you out, please text her, give her a call, or send her an email. Thank you so much.
Thank you. It's been loads of fun.
Bye, everybody. Thank you for joining me today on Topsail Insider. If you liked today's episode, please hit the follow or subscribe button so that you can get the Topsail Insider podcast delivered automatically to whichever podcast platform you're listening on. And if you're a business owner and you wish to set up a pre-interview or you want to advertise, please email me at topsailinsider@gmail.com. Please also find and like the Topsail Insider Facebook page. I provide links to the new podcast there each week, as well as providing photos of the businesses that I'm highlighting, along with any of their upcoming events. So hey, let's do this again next week. I'll see you around Topsail.